Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I'm not sure, but I know it's back now. Welcome back for real. Isn't that fun? You forget what kind of mercy you are, especially out here, because my phone, I can turn it into a hotspot, but I don't really get enough bandwidth to stream from it. So like I can, Facebook, I can do whatever. Thank you. Welcome back. I can post everything. Yes, everything is fine. Sorry. Hello. Hello, Katie. Sorry about that. No, it wasn't. You're not the only one who thought it was you either. John's like, what's going on? Hello, Teresa. Welcome back, most of you. Misery said, what a coincidence. Oh, yours also did, Misery. I thought it was me. I mean, only me. Hello, Heather. I know, I'm sorry, you guys. You know what? Honestly, oh, Debbie rebooted her router. I didn't even have to do anything. Oh, really, Rita? Rita said we were still able to chat for a while. That's interesting. Yay! Welcome back, Melody. Oh, so what is everybody working on? A few of you guys said what you were working on now, but what are you actually... You think it's Gremlins, Chris? I don't know. It does. Yes, Abir said I didn't realize it published automatically. It does. Yep. So I don't have to really do anything. I mean, I set it up in the beginning to publish right after it's finished, but that's it. So Shannon said, just finished playing Dorset for socks. It was originally supposed to be my Tour de Fleece project, but I got carried away. That's okay, Shannon. You can find a new project. Don't even worry. Misery said my router is actually faulty and we're looking at getting a new one. Internet drops out a lot. I think John just upgraded our internet service recently because of the large files he does things with. Oh, Melanie's working on the rocket tee. Hello, Mel. Chris is spinning pencil roving. Heather said I'm knitting a half fisherman's rib hat. Ooh, to try out the stitch. That's fun. Crystal's got koozie pattern worked out, so knitting the final. Melody is working on Memorial Day food. Yeah. Mandy said I was spinning Santa Cruz, but it's super challenging, so I've switched back to Gulf Coast Native. What is challenging? I need to know. Elizabeth's knitting so close. Uh-oh. Bonnie, I am knitting a test knit Juno shawl. Kate said, oh, hang on. Wait, where's my mouse? Here we go. Andrea Mowry's weekend knit along challenge for her Straya hat pattern. Oh, first major handspun. That's fun. Rita's weaving the gray and burnt orange. Andy said summer tea. Okay, now I'm going to scroll up. I'm sorry if I missed you. I really apologize. Kira said, I love Gremlins, the show, so much I named one. Oh, one of my cats, Gizmo. I love Gizmo's the cutest. Connie's working on spinning the second half of the Paradise Fiber sock blend. The second half? All right. Terry said, yeah, I thought it was my net. Nope. Elizabeth said, I just got my yarn in for pre-soaking, overdying Knit Pick Sport. Oh, and a mohair nylon blend. That sounds fun. Margarita, how's it going with the sock machine? Lee said, picking bad tips on a fleece. It's beautiful or it would be mulch. I've done that before. It's got to be beautiful to do that. Lori said, I finished the sweater I spun and knit, so I need to pick my next big project. That's always fun. Sometimes it's overwhelming, though. Diane is spinning dark green generic wool for a sweater. Misery said, I found even more forgotten yarn. Wow. It's beginning to look more like a problem than Christmas. Sorry, Chris. Elle Watson said, I'm finally knitting a pair of socks for myself. I have huge feet, so I've been putting it off and knit for everyone else. Oh, it's good that you're doing it for yourself. I love that. I saw Sylvia said, finish the Targi flamenco spin. Now back My socks. It really looked pretty. Mandy said Santa Cruz is so rare that they haven't been able to concentrate on fleece quality much, and the staple is really short and bouncy. Can do long draw, but it breaks easily. That sounds hard to do. Lemonade. It's lemonade today. Oh, Andy is spinning the daffodil. That was so pretty. Nyla's BFL on Navajo spindle. That is fun. Kiera said, so question, how do you all find the fiber festivals? Yeah, how do you guys find it? You can't miss it where I live. It's only about an hour-ish away from me, maybe a little more. And like everyone in a knitting group in this area knows and talks about it. So that's how I found the one that's local to me. But people talk about them on Ravelry a lot, and I'm also in a Knit Michigan group, so I hear about stuff there too. You guys. Young Spencer said I'm working on spinning singles yarn, still need lots of practice. I haven't found the sweet spot. Yes, thank you, Chris. He said technical difficulty happens. It's okay, glad you're back. Crystal, you can stop and drink your Dr. Pepper as much as you want. Don't let it go flat. Ugh. Maybe you like it. It's okay if you like it. Andy said I usually don't like yellow, but couldn't resist it. I can't say I don't like yellow, but I'm not like drawn to it like other colors, but it did turn out really pretty. Lisa said I'm currently cleaning loads of different fleeces, but this weekend is the Andrea Mowry long weekend Straya hat between holiday weekend cooking. We had a kid and his girlfriend over last night for dinner, and that's the only like company cooking I have to do this weekend, and I don't mind. Oh, Mandy said Clara Park's Knitters Review site has a pretty good calendar that lists them. I did not even know that. I love it. Kimberly said, how do you guys prefer to prepare alpaca for spinning? I have an entire cream-colored alpaca fleece in a large space bag just waiting to be spun. Ideas? Is it Wakaya or is it Surrey? Alice asked if I whacked my modem. I did not. I didn't have to do that. I'm not above it. If it's Wakaya, I mean, I generally blend alpaca with wool. So that's just me though. Crystal said the can is unopened. Oh, good. So it won't go flat. I see. I see. And Kimberly said it's washed and ready to go. Yes, Kiera, Ravelry is free, and it is a huge resource. Huge. Nope, I'm not gone, am I? Did I? Am I gone? Abir said Ravelry is free to join. Chris said, so I was hyped about the Fort Worth Festival, September, and told my John, who voiced interest in going. He then suggested going someplace more exotic like Wisconsin in August. It is not how I think of Wisconsin as exotic, but I like it. Okay, good. Good, okay, so I didn't go anywhere this time. Connie said, I think I'm going to dye some solid colors to match mine. Ooh, then either a really big shawl or a sweater. That sounds nice. Chris said, and air flights, as much as I'd love to see the dogs working in sheep auctions, etc., that gas is a deterrent, no kidding. Yeah, I've got to drive across the state to see my dad for Father's Day, and it's going to cost a crazy amount of money. Not that I mind, I'd like to see my dad, but it was like, it's just not normal. But it is what it is. Hello, Louise. Lisa said it has to fast forward her. Oh, good. Okay, sorry. I don't know what that was about, Lisa. Rita said, that's what I'm going to do. Mix some of the Rambouillet with some alpaca because alpaca is so heavy. I would prefer it. And it's also adds some spring to it, you know. Chris said, well, we grew up in Texas and know most of the entire territory. Okay. Not Surrey. So it's Wakaya. So that is more similar to wool than Surrey, but I would still blend it. That's just me though, because it's also really, really hot. The Young Spinster said there is a small fiber festival next weekend here in Pennsylvania. They sell lots of used spinning wheels. Not that I need another one. It's not about need. I just want to say it's not about needs. I know what you mean, Chris. Like Louisiana and Texas sounds kind of exotic to me because I haven't gotten to go there yet. And yes, I want to move to Houston, but I've never been to Texas. Nothing weird. AC said, "Hi, I'm start spinning on my South African is it caracool? Is that right? For my wall hanging weaving project. That sounds fun." Hello, hens and chicks. Hello, Saga. Look at you guys. Yes, Chris, you said you were going to do some dyeing. Chris has Rambouillet, Falkland, and silk ready to dye. I need to do some dyeing. I know I just did some, but come on. Lisa said, my current spin is the Icelandic my friend gifted me. I've been sampling between Lopi singles and then spinning the tog and the tell separately. Fun times learning new things. I have done it separately before. Isn't that interesting, Lisa? It's crazy how different they are. Did you separate them? Oh, shoot. Hang on. Did you separate them with like a flicker brush and just flick it out? I think it's the tog, right, that you flick out? Chris said, oh, Louisiana is definitely exotic. Is it, Chris? Hello, Lisa. How are you? Wait, knitting meerkats. Yes, Rita said Texas is hot right now, temp. The only thing is, if we live in Texas, we will need a pool, but at least we know how to do it already, right? And because of the heat. Lisa said, good, hun. Hope everyone is doing well. Everybody seems to be pretty good. Yes, Kira, tell me about it. Kira said, I want to travel the world, but problem is money. I don't know. Right now, I'm not in a traveling mode. I don't know what it is. I guess I just like being home. Crystal said this koozie has meerkats on it. How cute. Connie's got a little over 2 pounds of merino to scour and then dye. That sounds fun. I probably have like 8 pounds of merino on my porch to scour and dye. That's been there a whole year almost. Hello, Angie and Fossey. How are you and what are you working on? Did you bring a project? Yes. Chris said, one day you'll come and we'll pass a good time. I hope so. Where are you in Louisiana, Chris? I know I knew at one point, but I can't remember now. Chris said, oh, well, there you go. I think you're saying I hope you like heat and humidity if you're moving to Texas. We're not moving. Houston is very humid. I'm not sure if we'll ever move, honestly. Yes, Kimberly said not much of a use for all the warm woolies in Texas. That's true. Oh, Brenda said, I am well, but sad. We had to put our GSD to rest after the dyeing class. I'm so sorry, Brenda. Oh my goodness. Did you know that at the time or was it a surprise? I'm so sorry. It's really hard. Lisa said, I've separated but not spun them yet. I pulled the tog and then combed, pulling the extra tog out. Then I combed the tog to pull into thin roving. I carded the tail into a really soft bat. That's so interesting. Yes, I bought like a 10-pound fleece. That's why. Rita said 8 pounds. If I get through 3.5 pounds of Rambouillet, I'll consider I'm doing great. Yep, Elizabeth said, Brenda, I'm so sorry. It's so hard. Oh, and Brenda said, a shocked mighty wolf. Oh, okay. Chris said 60 miles north of New Orleans in the horse country. They call it the North Shore. Okay. Interesting. I mean, everyone says New Orleans is like nowhere, like, except at Mardi Gras. I don't know. People say all different things. Who knows? I wouldn't know until I actually got to see it. Fossey said, not working on anything right now. Do have a toddler sweater on the go, though, and combing some brown wool to spin. Not sure what breed. Ooh, cross of some kind. Angie said, hey, my first go, at breaking Wilton's violet food dye. That sounds fun. And some merino roving. Purposeful breaking is very fun. Hello, Shanna. Shanna said, my alarm went off, and I was playing Minecraft and lost track of time. Lori said, Chris T just had a little homesick heart tug with that pass a good time. Did you used to live there too, Lori? Oh, okay. Jerry is using her drop spindle during each live. That's fun. So is that like a goal? Kiera said, I want to go to New Orleans so much. I just said it wrong, but it's okay. I always say it wrong. Lisa said, I'll update with... Yeah, update us with pictures, Lisa. I would love that. Yeah, Mel said we have a North Shore here, too. You know, we have a North Shore, but we don't call it a North Shore. So that's fun. I don't know. You never say that here. Chris said, Lori, you come too. That's so sweet, Chris. See, that's Southern hospitality, not hospitality. Rita said, Brenda, so sorry. Animals are always part of the family. That's what makes it so darn hard. Elsbeth said, I'm thinking of picking up the needles again. Anyone here lever knit or lever knit? I can't knit my normal way anymore due to an injury. Well, I don't know what your injury is, but have you looked at Portuguese knitting? Because I can do that. I don't do it because I don't like the purling as much, but... you know, if you can't do it the other way, you might love it. Sorry, no. I like the purling more. I don't like the knitting as much. That's so hard to explain. Kimberly said, I lost the joy of my Corriedale fleece from last year, but my first shearing on my spicy fiber flock is beckoning me. Ooh. Oh, okay. Lori said 20 years in New Orleans and St. Bernard. Brenda said, I'm excited about getting the loom, although because of the loss of Audie, there is a little cloud over it. I know. I do that too. Like, if something bad happens and something good pretty much at the same time, I attach them in my mind, and it makes it so you don't enjoy the good thing as much. I'm sorry. That is sad. Shanna said, my mind always goes to the Oahu North Shore as I lived there for a while. How nice. Elizabeth said, yes, I love lever knitting. I don't know how to do that, I don't think. Chris said, okay, let's have a spin in. Yeah, just don't plan it August through mid-October. Hurricanes are unpredictable. Is that hurricane season? I didn't know that. Oh, Connie, that's a bummer. Where did you get it? I had ordered 2 pounds of Icelandic and it was so full of EM I couldn't get, I don't know, I'm missing something, and tell out of it at all. Oh, Angie. She said there's a used Magic Craft rose on eBay UK that is tempting me, but it's out of my price range. I'm fighting the temptation. I would love one. Nyla said, I think Sweet Georgia has a video. There you go. Margaret said, I lever knit. Sweet Georgia has a tutorial. There you go. Purling is as easy as knitting. How nice is that? Mel said, I think I lever knit. I throw, but don't let go of the needle. Oh, interesting. So is that what it means? I didn't know that. I do let go of my needle when I throw, but I don't. I only really throw if I am knitting more than 2 colors, which I can't stand hardly. More than 2 is just... Shanna said, I lever knit and really enjoy it. Erases the strain on my right wrist and thumb and pointer finger joints. That's nice. I guess I better look it up. Chris said, a beautiful time to be here is November through Christmas. The weather is great. All right, then. That's it. We just need to buy a house in Texas for the winter. Rita asked, what's lever knitting? I don't know, Rita. I've never done it. So someone else will have to describe it. Chris said, yeah, Ida came through on Katrina's anniversary and tore us up. I saw that. I guess I always thought spring. I don't know. Clearly I know nothing about the hurricanes except what we see on the news. Elizabeth said, lever knitting is also Irish cottage knitting. If you throw without letting go of the needle, that is called flicking. Oh. I thought I was a flicker. But I don't throw. Elspeth said, I'll look into Portuguese, but all depends on where the weight of the knitted work is held. Okay, so look at that, because with Portuguese, you actually tension the yarn around, well, some people do it around the back of their neck, but also you can wear like a little pin that you run the yarn up and through to tension it, and that's one of the things I like about it. And the purling is so easy. It's awesome. Okay, Crystal said, oh, I know who knits that way. Kiera said, I'm still new to knitting too. I don't know what throwing is. So throwing, Kiera, is where you hold the yarn in your right hand on backwards and you bring it around the needle as you're knitting. And flicking, or what I thought flicking was, but maybe I have it wrong, is if you hold it in your left hand. Actually, that's picking. I'm sorry. And you just pull the yarn off and it comes down off this finger and you just pull it off, usually. I mean, there's always a little variation, but let's see. Becky said, hurricanes happen when the ocean and the Gulf get warm enough and stop when they get colder, so hurricane season lasts from early summer to mid-fall. Okay, that makes sense. That totally makes sense to me, because we get a lot of weather off of Lake Michigan when, well, all the time really, but when it's extremely anything, we get a lot of weather that comes off the lake. Interesting weather. Chris said, well, I do. I lived in Valdez, Alaska. We averaged 360 degrees a winter. Wow. Rita said, I use my little finger for tension. I also do that. Oh, when you knit Portuguese, Rita, how do you do that? Elizabeth said, the yarn harlot does lever knitting Irish cottage. I guess I have to look it up, because I don't know. I've never heard that term before today, I don't think. Debbie said, I tried lever knitting. I had super tight tension. I think my favorite is Norwegian knitting. I like Norwegian purling, but my purl tension didn't match, so I couldn't keep doing it. Yes, Abir said, I love the yarn harlot. Isn't she funny? She's a Toronto knitter. She is hilarious. Kate said, okay, jumping in, scouring Corriedale, since you're here to verify the process. Skirting is done. Cold water soak, then warm hot, not warm hot, with scouring soap, then 2 to 3 warm hot rinses, no agitation at any point. I would say yes, but you might have to wash twice. And no warm hot, especially for the first one. Because you have to melt the lanolin to get it off of there. Shanna said, Yarn Harlot, yep, and Sweet Georgia are both great resources. I agree. I used to read her blog, like, religiously. But then she went a while without posting very much, and I kind of got out of the habit. You know how that goes? And honestly, I used to use the Google, whatever the Google Reader used to be, I can't remember, that gave you updates on all your new ones you followed. You know what I mean? but they discontinued it, and that kind of made me stop reading blogs as much. Bye, Elizabeth. Crystal said, watching the Yarn Harlot knit makes me want to quit knitting sometimes. She is crazy fast. Why would that make you want to quit? Oh, feet! Inches! Chris said 360 inches of snow. Oh. Alright, I'm going to look them up. Lisa Lehman said there's a bunch of YouTube videos on lever knitting right now. Yeah, I'm sorry, Chris. It was me. My eyeballs saw the quote marks as a... My bad. You can do it, Kate. There's a couple videos. I mean, I've watched a couple times. I like it to be close to 140. As close to 140 as you can get. Rita said, I knit with both hands from what you described on throwing the yarn over. That's how I knit. Been knitting for over 50 years. There's no wrong way, Rita. As long as you're making the stitches that you're happy with, then you're doing it right. That's perfect. My mom throws. She's always been a thrower. She taught me to throw. And then when I was like 21 or 22, my first mother-in-law was teaching herself Continental and telling me about it. And she's like, you should try it. So I bought a book and taught myself to knit Continental from a book. Just a paper one, a plain old book. Abir said, the Yarn Harlot has the funniest books. Highly recommend. I love them too. I think they are so funny. And I mean, I've been reading and watching her stuff so long that I feel like I have seen her family grow up. Like her daughters. Chris said, Linus, yeah, it was a crazy amount of snow. I probably should have brought... Oh, wow. I probably should have brought my sock, too. Kimberly said, really? 49 on the chat, only 2 thumbs up? Oh, because it's the new one. Because I had to do... Yeah. Oh, sorry, you guys. Mel said, I've never watched her. I'll be sure to check it out. You mean Yarn Harlot, Mel? She doesn't have... I don't think she has a regular YouTube channel, although there are some videos of her out there. It's like a blog, a regular written blog. Regular. Crystal said we did see her family grow up. I know, but they don't know me, which is... You feel like you know them, but they don't know you. Kimberly said 62 now. Wait, it went from 49 to 62 that fast? That was crazy. Angie said, I just found Tunisian crochet, having fun with that. I'm just too slow at knitting. Everybody's slow in the beginning, Angie. I mean, I don't know how close you are to the beginning, but it really takes so much time to get fast. Abir said, Brenda, you will be laughing out loud. I relate a lot to, yes. And she said, and relating so much. So hilarious. Bye, Shannon. How sweet is that, Mr. Wonderful? Kimberly said, just reminding everyone since we are on part 2. I forgot. I never even thought about it. Connie said, I think all the YouTubers are coming out with books now. When is yours coming out, Trish? You know, I don't see myself ever writing a book. Is that weird? Who else is writing a book? This is going to show how little I know about what's actually going on in the world. Truly. Yeah, Crystal said they don't know a lot of us that have watched that family. I'm sure that she would be used to that because she's, such a really big, I guess, star. Chris said, speaking of socks, you mentioned on the dye class something about a sock knit you are preparing for. Oh, gosh. Yes. So, Chris, After I was out of Sock Madness, I found out that there is a competition that's more like Tour de Sock, which I used to love, and I could sign up, and I only had like 2 days left to sign up, so I did sign up. And right now we're just in the qualifier round. And if, for people who were still in Sock Madness, if they were still knitting, they did not have to knit the qualifier. So, Misery said, I gave up on knitting for a year when I started because I was impatient with how slow I was going with it. Glad I took it back up again, honestly. Yeah. Rita said, I've tried the Continental, didn't like it since I've been knitting the old way for so long. It is a very hard switch to make, I think. I know, Abir said, never say never. You know, I do think anything can happen. Oh my gosh, you are hilarious. Crystal said, John could write a book, Life with a Wonderful Wool Goddess. Can you imagine if John wrote a book? Bye, Lisa. Connie said Bernadette Banner has one. See, I don't even know who that is. That's awful for me to say. I'm sorry, Bernadette Banner, whoever you are. I'm so sorry. Abir said, Trish, I can see your book now. Picture it. Picture it. Picture this. Diary format with pictures and notes about previous projects, a few tips and ideas, and bingo, book. I know you make it sound really easy. I need a ghostwriter. I used to transcribe ghostwriters' files, like interviews with their, you know, whatever you call the author. Shanna said, dear son just came in and wants me to tell you he really likes my, tell him thank you so much. Oh wait, now I missed another one. Kimberly said, Mike is listening to you, Trish, and then I looked over and he's watching videos of the yarn harlot. He's impressed. He should be. She's amazing. Oh, you guys are hilarious. Kate said, nap ended early with wool in the soak. Gotta go juggle wool and toddlers. Good luck, Kate. Enjoy. Better you than me. I don't have the energy anymore. Margarita said, just Trish, the wonderful wool goddess. Can you imagine? Connie, oh, she does historical sewing. Maybe I do know who she is. I was thinking of Only Knitting. He's not really a writer either, Chris. She said, tell John we'll all buy that book. I love it. Okay, Abir said Bernadette is a historical tailor. The historical sewing person that I watch the most is Abby Cox. Is it Abby Cox? Debbie said, I just diagnosed with a connective tissue disease, so going to enjoy my fiber fun while I can. Oh gosh, Debbie, because I don't know how long I'll be able to do it. I'm so sorry. Is there any possibility you'll be able to like spin with an electric spinner? Wow. It's kind of a fear of mine to either lose my eyes or my ability to physically do a lot of the other stuff. Lisa said, I grew up knitting the throw method, but always felt clumsy. Learned to knit Continental about 15 years ago, and my knitting improved so much. That's interesting that it improved. Misery said, Bernadette Banner's book is amazing. I have a copy of it. So who else besides, yes, oh gosh, Abir said, I love Abby Cox. She's so fun. She is so fun. Terry said, I knit Continental and found it much easier than throwing because I crocheted first. I think that's why I did have an easier time starting, and I hold my yarn in my left hand already. That's how I do too. Okay, Debbie has electric spinners already. Well, that's good. Hopefully that'll keep you going longer. I'm so sorry to hear that, Debbie. Okay, Connie said Abby and Bernadette. So I probably have seen her. I just didn't know her name. You guys know I don't sew a ton, but I do find it fascinating. Oh, Mel said we got back from a wedding in Milwaukee yesterday. I'm still dragging. Uh-oh. Okay, Misery said Abby Cox is actually published as a co-author on 2 books. Okay. I'm not even sure what I would write a book about. Okay, Abir said Connie, is it the shoemaking one? That was fun. That they did together? Uh-oh. Yeah, Connie said, I'm the same, I crocheted first. I do think that makes it a lot easier to learn Continental if you're already a crocheter, but, it doesn't have to be that you know how to do it first. Angie said, Terry, that's interesting because I think it's holding the yarn in my right hand that slows me down while knitting. It could be, Angie. It wouldn't hurt to try. I mean, just make sure you give yourself a little time to develop the muscle memory. Sylvia said, me too, Terry. Continental, so much easier as I started as a crocheter. Beer said, yes, Misery, American Duchess. See, there you go. We have so many, similar design interests in these groups. It's just really, it's cool. Like, there's so many quilters. Lisa said, I crochet too, so maybe that's why the Continental was so much more comfortable. It could be. I did learn to knit first and then crochet, but by the time I taught myself Continental, I had known how to crochet for more than 12 years. I don't know exactly. Abir said, Abby made me dig up my sewing machine. Wow. She does a lot of hand sewing though, right? Too? I do not think I have enough practice for my hand sewing to look good. Rita said I knitted first, then learned to crochet when I was 1? No, 15. Sorry, my mouse was blocking the other number. You didn't learn that when you were 1, did you? Connie said, I don't remember. I know they did a review on period costumes on different shows. That sounds fun. Terry said to start out, get one of those stitch minders that you put on your finger and hold your attention, and that way you'll get, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, hold your tension is probably what it should say, and that way you'll get used to having it on your left side. That makes sense. Becky said I was teaching my son to crochet and just realized of all of the things that your fingers do when you crochet, it has been muscle memory for so long that I didn't realize how hard it really is. I have that, Becky, when I teach people certain things. I have done things so long sometimes that it becomes automatic, and I am very big on muscle memory just in my personality, I guess, or my learning style. And so I am unaware of a lot of the things that I'm doing because it's just become part of, instinct almost. I don't know how else to say it. Abir said, Connie, I'm mixing her up with Nicole. She is a shoemaker. Elizabeth said, I taught myself Continental knitting because it made more sense to hold the yarn that way to me. There you go. Did you crochet first, Elizabeth? Abir said, I enjoy Nicole very much. New video dropped today. Abir, do you sew also? I don't remember seeing a ton of sewing stuff, although you just said you got your machine out because of Abby. So is it a newer interest for you? I'm just nosy. Just nosy and curious about what you're doing with your life, Lisa said so many shared interests. That's why I think so too. But also it makes you more accepting, I think, of other people's stuff when you know you have unusual interests, Margarita said, I had a dream last night that my son left my sewing table outside in the rain. I was not happy with him because my machine was still on it. That's terrible. I've been having weird dreams. Oh, Elizabeth said no. Okay. That's so interesting that you taught yourself Continental just because it made more sense. Abir said, Margarita, that is an interesting dream. Lisa said, learn knitting at 9 and crocheting shortly after so my grandma could keep me busy while she napped. Lisa, that is how I learned to knit. My mom, well, not because of the napping, but I was going into kindergarten, and my mom was always looking for some way to keep me busy for the summer. I was the last kid, and she was in school year round for a while, and she was just like, because she went back to college, and she was just like, okay, I need to keep this kid busy. So she taught me to knit. And then, like, when I was 8, my sister taught me to crochet. So it's a long time now. Debbie said muscle memory is great. I make glass beads and can make exactly the same size beads without even trying, thanks to muscle memory. So you get it, Debbie. I appreciate that, because I often think that I am weird that way. Bye, Brenda. I'm sorry again about your dog. She said, thanks everyone for your compassion about my loss of Audie. Have a good week. I'm sorry. Audie. Abir said, sewing is very new to me, and despite the fact that my Singer was purchased 10 years ago, you know what? It doesn't matter how long you had it before you started. It doesn't matter. I've had my sewing machine since my son was born, and he turned 24 in April, but I like sewed all his pajamas back then when he was little, because flame retardant pajamas were the thing for babies then, and they were gross. They were like, I can't even describe the feeling of that material. It was gross. Margarita said, I think I had too much tequila this week. I'm sorry, it was stressful. I really am. Connie said, my son is on the spectrum, also called Asperger's. I missed it. I taught him crochet as a way to help him calm and focus himself. That's a really good idea. I bet that would help the focus. Makes sense. Chris said, I learned to throw, and my aunt taught me to knit socks Continental. Now I want to learn Fair Isle. I'm sorry, it's going too fast for me. I'm slow today. Danny said, I'm a left-handed thrower. Holdover from how I was taught to crochet. I can't Continental pick because my hands just refuse to do it. That's interesting. Becky said, do any of y'all remember the gorilla knitting craze where people would knit sweaters on public objects like trees, mailboxes, and telephone poles? I totally remember that. Yep, Rita said knitting and crocheting is calming. Unless you're having problems, Rita. I haven't always found it to be calming. Lisa said it was edgings on handkerchiefs. Jerry said I was taught to crochet as a kid, but I never wrapped the yarn around my finger. It just held it in my closed hand. So to transition from throw knitting to Continental was awkward for me. Learning muscle memory is really an awkward thing. A beer said I got into knitting and crochet in memory of my grandmother. I never met her, but she was a master knitter and crocheted my mom's trousseau for her wedding. That is so sweet. I love that story. Really, that must have taken forever. Connie said it became a really good tool for him. The crocheting to calm himself and focus himself. I mean, that makes so much sense, really. Margarita said, my daughter likes crochet. It helps with her ADHD. Crystal said, it just makes you wonder, before I say what Crystal said, it just makes you wonder if that is something that if they taught in school, how many kids could they help, you know? Crystal said, we have yarn bombers in the winter. The statues have scarves and mittens and hats hanging off them almost all winter, free for anyone to take. That's really cool. I have heard that before, Mel. Mel said, weird, I went over the character count and it wouldn't post my comment. No, someone else said that before. Terry said they teach knitting and crocheting in the veterans hospitals. It's to help the patients get their dexterity back in their fingers. Okay, Misery said that's the reason why she started. Elizabeth said, what's a trousseau? So it's like the, well, I've heard it different things, but it's like all the garments that you wear as a married lady that you didn't have before. So it could be a lot of different things, and a lot of times it also includes the stuff that you take on your honeymoon. Kira said, I learned to crochet when I was 6 because my grandma wanted me out of, I don't know what that is, but I also draw and writing. I'm also high functioning autistic and bipolar. Okay. Wow. Okay, so Debbie said I have ADHD and knit during meetings so that I can pay attention. People don't realize how helpful that is. And Connie said my thoughts exactly, Trish. Oh, Mel said I just took a 2-color colorwork class, so many ladies swearing in a room. Oh, Heather said I knit during work meetings and training so I can pay attention and retain the information. I really wish I understood what part of your brain it occupies that frees up that paying attention part, because I totally have that, and some people get really offended. Like if you're knitting in a meeting, they don't like it. Jerry said when I was teaching, I had a knitting club after school for 3rd to 6th grade. Usually 15 kids would come. That's awesome, Jerry. Think about all the kids that are going to make things for life because of that. Debbie said I was interviewing a candidate via video last week and knitted during the entire thing. No one knew because I can knit without looking. It's not a bad skill, right? A beer said, Trish, it would be enormous. I think so too. And they used to teach it, like in Canada, everyone used to learn to knit. She said it would be enormously helpful to kids, eye-hand coordination, and great for focus. So helpful. I agree. No problem. Kira said she wanted me out of the way. I'm pretty sure that's what my mom wanted too. Hello, Kai. How are you? A beer said I read that fiber arts in general keep the brain healthy. It makes a lot of sense. You're using a lot of parts of your brain. Oh, Margarita Dew. Oh, wait, how will I get to meet him? Is he your husband? I have a friend that is a brain guru. I'll ask him. You'll get to meet him in July. Terry said I have trouble paying attention and listening as well. And so I used to sit in the back row of church and I would crochet with my lighted crochet hooks, but I would listen to the sermon. It's weird how my mind will wander a lot less if I am like occupying. It's like I'm occupying the wandering part. I don't know what it is. It's weird. I'd be so interested to hear why that works. Fossey said I have to concentrate too much on knitting or crochet. Don't think I could read and talk like you are while doing it. I can read a book too if it's plain knitting. But I don't usually read while I spin, which is weird because I clearly could, right? We can see that. Kai just got a new book about silk. That's interesting. Connie said I'm hoping it will hold off dementia. Well, I would imagine, how like they're saying that dementia patients, they're playing their favorite kinds of music for them and stuff, and it kind of wakes up a part of them. I would imagine that you would retain that muscle memory longer than a lot of other things, if that makes sense, even if you had dementia, which I'm sure you don't. Crystal said to Kai, when you play with that bison fiber, I would like to hear what you think about it. Kimberly said, I knit my way through all the meetings at the APHL CDC conference. That's how they know me. It's not my first conference. It's so good. Oh, okay, he's married to your BF. I see. Okay, cool, Margarita. I would love to discuss this. So, Kimberly, they know and no one's offended because they're used to it, you think? That's my problem, is people sometimes get offended. Hello, Carrie. I was wondering if you were busy today because it's nice out. Oh, Luther just kicked me. Misery said I tend to knit when I'm watching shows because otherwise I don't focus on the show at all. I find my mind wanders no matter what. It's really bad. Hello, Evie. How are you? Oh, Becky said, I understand it is related to the executive dysfunction. The person cannot regulate how much processing power they use. They have to use all of it all the time. That's got to be me. Truly. I would not be surprised one bit if that was true of my brain, because Mel said, wait, you can read and knit and at the same time rockstar, because even if it doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm trying to do something else at the same time. Like, if I'm gardening, I need to listen to a book or I can't focus and I can't stay on task. I don't think I have ADHD, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Becky said, so if you're using 50% of your processing power, you need something to use up that other 50%. But if you're using all of your processing power, you cannot handle any more input. That's me. I'm wonderful. How are you, Carrie? How are you doing? I was thinking about you this morning. Chris said Melanie Trish can watch movies in the theater and knit. That reminds me, I need to go see the new Downton Abbey movie. Has anyone seen it? I want to go. Yes, Crystal said buffalo is the same as bison. It is. We just call it different things in different countries. Does that mean... Oh, Carrie, does that mean... You mean you came home just now? How was it? Don't tell me anything. Oh, I can't wait. I really want to see it. Can you tell? Uh-oh. Were you knitting? Yeah, John, actually, about the knitting and reading, John actually bought me this gooseneck thing that I can put my Kindle in. And it will sit right in front of me so that I can just flick the pages really easily and I don't have to hold it up, so I can knit and it will just be like right here. Kimberly said they're not offended because there's a big emphasis on inclusion at the CDC now, and when I said that it helps me focus, they were fine. There you go. His answer was the nitpicking part. Carrie said, whoops, I'm in the car right now. I didn't see Downton Abbey though. Did you see something else good? I don't mind hearing. Lisa said, I have a hard time concentrating too and listen to something while doing something else with my hands. So great to be in light company. It is so great. It's so great for someone that understands. I used to think I just needed a ton of input all the time. But now I'm thinking that what Becky said was probably what's up with my brain. Oh, Chris said I haven't seen the new film, but I watched the whole series last month. Hello, Samantha. It was a great show. I love Julian Fellows. Terry said only 4 likes, get to it. Alice, it said interesting concept, Becky Adams, for me. Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. It went away. Debbie said we finally got our outdoor living area usable. Ours isn't quite there yet, but it's only because it needs cleaning. It's been under construction, and it was so nice to sit out there last night and watch movies and knit with my hubby. That is nice. We do not have a TV out there. We used to. We used to have a big TV in the cabana so I could float in the pool and watch TV. That's awful. Crystal said I knit and read 1,000,000 miles of stocking knit. Yes. Kimberly said I was the only one knitting on day 1, but not the rest of the week. It's like I started a trend by end. I'm sure there were a whole bunch of people who were like, yes, if someone else is doing it, I can do it too. Carrie said I'm going to have to watch the whole live later. This sounds like... We did have a good conversation today, Carrie. Oh, Fossey, you got to watch it. It's so good. Every single episode is so good. I don't think I've ever cried as hard at a TV show as I cried at Downton Abbey. I'm not going to tell you why, because that'll ruin it for you. Rita said I can't knit and read, but can knit and watch TV. That's good enough. That's perfect. Bye, a beer. Yes, we will see. We'll see you next Sunday. Yep, Michelle said, hey everybody, Downton fan too. Maggie Smith is my fave. She's the best. I feel like she's a kindred spirit of mine. Or maybe it's not the Duchess. The Dowager Duchess. Is she a Duchess? Whatever. Oh, we started it, Melody. Melody said just watch the new series with Sissy Spacek and J.J. Abrams. Was so good. We are on like the 2nd episode, I think. Had my knitting, but it just sat on my lap because I was so absorbed. Really? Yeah, it's almost time for me too. I just have a couple more minutes and then I'm going to go plant some seeds. John got my irrigation stuff all laid out this week for me because he's the best. It was really nice. My garden's ready to roll. Oh, Connie's watching it too. Okay, good. Don't tell me what happens. I don't want to say where we are yet because I don't want to mess anybody else up who might watch it later. And Carrie, did you say what you saw? I missed it. Becky said I've been doing a lot of research on ADHD because my son has it, but also has some other problems that mean that medication management is not an option. So he needs good coping mechanisms. So interesting. I bet you've learned a lot of good stuff. Carrie, you saw Bob's Burgers? Was that good? I also think Linda is a kindred spirit of mine, so because she's always singing stuff out, and that is totally, you guys don't really know, I guess you do, you know this about me, but if you knew me in person, you know that I'll turn anything into a song. Hard to believe, I know. Chris, yes, I'll take that as a compliment. I must have said it wrong. That's Maggie Smith. Yes, Andy said if you have HBO, The Gilded Age isn't the same people, only set in New York. I also thought that was so good. Kai said I'm spinning some silk on my Turkish spindle. What am I spinning? This is a mystery, kind of a mystery blend. It's got CVM and then something that I bought at an estate sale that I had them blend. Oh, you cried at Bob's Burgers? Okay, Connie's halfway through the second. I think we were like a good way through the second, maybe the beginning of the third. It is? Andy said I meant by the same people who did Downton. I didn't realize that. The Gilded Age is written by Julian Fellows. No wonder I loved it so much. And the costumes in The Gilded Age are insane. They're insane. Misery said, okay, now I'm through the Forgotten Yarn and now I'm finding forgotten projects. I hate that. You do not have a problem. You're fine. That's right. Carrie said the big balls. I still have 3 more big balls. This one's gotten a lot smaller though. Becky said he wants to go back to public school. He's homeschooled now. I'm super nervous because he won't be able to just stop for a brain break when he needs it. Will they not work with him on that, Becky? Because some schools will. Rita said, y'all know we all probably have a touch of maybe a touch of ADHD because we can concentrate on the knitting. I've never thought I might, but maybe I do. And Chris said the dresses in Downton Abbey were so lovely. That is such an interesting period in fashion, isn't it? Because it kind of crosses, like, I don't know. See, Mel, I agree, Mel. Mel said Linda Belcher is my spirit animal. That's how I feel. I don't think we're supposed to say that anymore, though. Isn't that a no-no to say anymore? Terry said, where do you watch the shows? You mean Downton Abbey? She said, I'm kind of curious to see what you're all talking about. Downton Abbey you can watch on Amazon or on PBS. The PBS app is only like $4.99 a month. I don't know if it's on Netflix or not. And The Gilded Age is only available on HBO. Bye, Debbie. Debbie's going to the pool. See, Sylvia said, Becky, our son gets a lot of help at public school for his ADHD and Asperger's. So a lot of schools even have a space now for kids who need to take whatever kind of break you want to call them. I mean, I think overwhelm breaks, maybe. Okay, Michelle said I watched it on Netflix. You mean Downton, right? Right, and Bob's Burgers is on Hulu, and it is so funny and cute and sweet. And a little irreverent, but it's not bad. Rita said don't drown. I have to go too. Kai is going. It's time for me to go too. I'm actually also going to do poop duty in the backyard and pick it all up from the boys. The hairy four-legged boys, not my kids. Becky said we've had lawsuits in the school district because teachers have not been following IEPs, individual education plans. I don't know if that means it will be better or an indication of the culture. Well, you know, you can always stop if it's not working and come back home. Chris said my 36-year-old loves Bob's Burgers. Eggs. Chris said my grandson has ADHD and he taught himself to crochet. That's cool. I will. Kiara said have fun playing in the dirt. I think it's good for me. It seems like it makes me happy to grow things. Oh, there's a fly in here. I love you guys. I will see you for sure next Sunday. I think a video is coming on Tuesday. It shouldn't be too bad. I'm pretty much ready. So, and Kay, I'm excited to see pictures. So, please post pictures after you do your ice dyeing. I agree. Oh, growling. So you guys have a great week. And if you're in the U.S., enjoy Memorial Day. If you're outside the U.S., enjoy your Monday. I love you.